Hello, everybody. I'm back here today, and basically, what I wanted to talk about in today's video is the art of perspective and how you can use this to leverage yourself in your situation. And one of the things I really wanted to talk about was um, really using comparison as a leverage tactic rather than what they so call the thief of joy. Now, it's really about how you look at certain things and how you actually deal with them. And some may say it is a thief of joy in the aspect of comparing yourself to others and what others have achieved and kind of looking at what you have done and haven't done. Now, if you use that in that sense, then yes, this can be very detrimental to your self progression and ultimately killing your dreams and goals at that. But if you look at it in the sense of comparing yourself to your previous self, then you can only progress from there. Now, what you can do is simply write down or just think of certain qualities, mannerisms, and just qualities about yourself that you may dislike or like. And for the ones you may dislike, how can you counteract those? What can you do better? And what are things that you can improve on? And as far as the things you like, how can you maximize that and progress them to, you know, ultimately better that quality about you and kind of take it to the next level? So, write down, whether it's on a piece of paper or on your phone, these things and kind of about branch off certain ideas and things that you can do to either better this quality or counteract the quality. Like if you're someone like myself who gets frustrated with certain things, very little things, what can you do to not get mad at this certain thing anymore? What can you do to maybe use that anger as a positive and kind of fuel that energy into your craft or just a hobby? Whether that's using a good breathing technique or simply exercise it through physicality like push-ups or just something like that. um, you know because everything is in contrast with each other. As far as your mental and your physical, you need to be exercising your mental through physical and your physical through mental, and these kind of counteract each other and you know complement each other. So really just certain qualities about yourself that you may have from your previous self and your present, and what do you want to see for your future self. So kind of just go over things about you that you may not like or things you do like, and how can you improve on that. And it really just comes down to asking yourself. So it's literally as simple as that. And I think when we get caught in this loop of comparison as far as social media, people punt on a facade or a front, and this kind of, infiltrates our mind to think that we should be doing better than where we are. And that may be true, but, not a lot of these things come overnight, and what you see on, social media or the internet is not what it's all set out to be. A lot of these people's lives are not what they are perceived to be, and this is why we should only compare to ourself and our previous self. And if you look it up or do some research on Kaizen, basically progressing 1% by each day. What can you do to progress each day little by little? And it doesn't have to be something massive. It could just be as simple as being more organized. um, as far as making your bed. Every morning you wake up, make your bed. Um, get up and go exercise, or write things down to kind of know what you're doing. As far as being organized, though, I like to keep my personal space clean because it helps me organize my thoughts and just be more well-rounded as far as, you know, my thought process. And moving on from that, let's be more organized in our day-to-day basis and our daily routines. So something to really do is have your days planned out, you know. Use a piece of paper, write things down. It's very easy to write things down. It's, you know, we have our phone right here and we can simply write it down in our notes or as far as a piece of paper. It's, you know, that simple. Because if you just look at a chessboard, if you're gonna move a pawn up 2 or up 1, you know your next move, and you're able to analyze the board and know where you're going from there. And the initial end goal is to checkmate your opponent's king. So if you know, have these things planned out, you can take your move, kind of sit back, analyze the situation, and now you can, you know, plan on your next move. But if you don't know where you're headed, then you don't know where you're going. And if you don't know where you're going, then you're lost. And being lost is, you know, not very not very good. It's not a good thing to be lost. However, sometimes being lost is when we find ourselves. So it's really about how you look at these things. But um, if you're willing to deal with it, and how you go about it is what really matters. That's what truly matters, is how you go about certain things and deal with them. And if you have the willpower to just keep pushing through it, because time is relentless and it's only going to keep moving, and it's not stopping for anyone or anything. But basically, back to just being more organized and, you know, planning out your moves. Just, you want to wake up with, you know, that next step, that next move, and this will proceed and progress you each day. And, you know, if you know where you're going, then you know where you're headed, and you will eventually get there. It's just about how many steps it will take. So I don't really want to ramble on too much, because I don't want to just talk in circles. So I feel like that's the best way I could probably explain that. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this, and hopefully this helped you, and, you know, maybe you can take some value out of this and interpret that into your daily life, and just better yourself. So peace out, and I'll see you guys in the next video.